just I always find it useful to talk about neuroscience, but also talk about other the things that are happening in the world at that same time period. It kind of gives you a context to how things work. So, for example, if we look at the 1960s and 1970s, where we had a biomolecular revolution and a technological revolution, which are not really necessarily had to do with neuroscience, but they did have an impact on neuroscience. For example, considerably better processors and computer processors and microelectrodes to recall neural cells, advances in electrophysiology. All these things are connected, and it's always helpful to see how you can take things which are completely not related necessarily, but I just find it helpful to understand the greater context of things. Now, in the past 10 years, we've had some very interesting advances. Regeneration of neurons, bionanotechnology. We can, connect electromechanical limbs to the biological nervous system. It's brain-machine interface. It's very interesting. And there's things in computational neuroscience. I'll discuss this in more detail in the later videos, especially section 3 onwards. And that's it. I mean, we have major brain projects happening in the EU and in the US. We have a connectome project which seeks to look at all the connections in the brain, how they are kind of mapping the brain's connections through histology, through computational modeling and reconstructions, to functional modeling. It's very interesting, and of course, now that we have the internet, you can have access to this video, of course, but also when it comes to research, we can collaborate with different labs around the world. We can do really interesting things, and for this decade and the next decade is going to be very exciting stuff. There will be very exciting things happening in neuroscience. Okay, so methods and techniques, you have to know that. How we know what we know, the scientific method. We have, as you can see on the right here, we have different experimental techniques. For example, as I've mentioned, lesions and histology, structural imaging, functional imaging like fMRI,